Hello there and welcome to Memeobi's Galaxy. I am your host, Memeobi. We are here to discuss The Skeleton Crew. The episode just dropped. Me and my co-host Ethan. Ethan, how are you?
Hello, good.
We just watched it and we just came down here to my basement and we're going to record just a general reaction. The way this show goes is we have not looked at any social media. We have not looked at any references. We don't know what anyone else thinks about the show or anything. We're just going to review it wholeheartedly and honestly. But before we do that, Ethan, did you see the news about Jeremy Allen White?
I did not.
Do you know Jeremy Allen White? This guy? He's in The Bear.
Oh, yes.
He is going to be joining Mandalorian and Grogu in the new movie. Do you know what
Really?
character he's going to play?
No.
Let's see if you can guess. Have you ever seen the Clone Wars movie?
Yep.
Do you remember what the story of that one is? What's Anakin and Ahsoka's job in that movie? What are they supposed to be doing? They're getting someone. They're getting a character. A baby. They're getting a baby. Do you know whose baby they're getting?
No, I don't remember.
They're getting Jabba the Hutt's baby.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's who he's going to play.
He's going to play Jabba the Hutt's
Son.
baby.
He's going to play Jabba the Hutt's son.
Interesting. Oh, okay, as in he's older.
Yes, older.
Interesting.
But he's going to play his son. And I don't know how I feel about that, but I think it's going to be interesting. So we do know we're going to get a Hutt in the new Mandalorian Grogu of some accord. But that is just a side note on the news that has come out.
Yeah.
Now into the episode. Just as a warning, there are spoilers that will follow. So what do you think, Ethan? What was your thoughts?
Yeah, episode 3, I thought it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's been fun we had episode 1 and 2. We
Yep.
both watched those right away the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say I love that we do it like this. You know, it's cool that it's our own opinions, our own thoughts right away. Like when he says we haven't looked at anything, I'm telling you guys, we watched this episode, went straight into recording after. Like maybe there's 1 minute in between that we're doing this, you know. So this is what we really think. And still, I really like Neil.
Mm-hmm. Neil's killing it.
He's great. I just think they're doing all the right things to make him the character he is. This one was cool. I think it's a lot of kind of what we've been expecting to see out of the characters so far.
Nothing revolutionary, I would say.
No,
I think it's interesting, right? Because they always do a 2-episode premiere, so you feel like you get more.
Mm-hmm.
And then like this second episode, or the second night of airing, right? The 3rd episode is a lot. It just feels less because it's so much shorter.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So it starts out on At-Atten. That's like the only time we're on At-Atten. We get that the parents are all concerned, but we get like the first line where he's like, well, are they going to contact the Republic?
Yeah.
Because on At-Atten, they still believe that the Republic is still a thing. They missed the Empire and the war.
And don't miss what he said there. He said the Republic, you know, not the New Republic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're making... There wasn't like a zoom-in shot on him or anything to really emphasize that, but I think they really want you to pay attention to these small details. It's like they don't realize this is a new republic yet, you know?
Yeah,
it's
because
just saying the Republic.
If they kind of touch on it in the very end of the episode where they go to I don't remember her name. What was the owl lady's name?
The owl?
Yeah, what was the owl's name?
Kim.
Kim.
Yep.
Yeah, Kim with a lot of extra letters and apostrophes.
Yeah, it's like KYHM or something like that.
There's being extra.
KY apostrophe.
But Kim mentions, basically kind of tells us what's going on.
Yeah.
Right? So the Republic hid like 7 worlds for some sort of like treasure, not treasure.
Oh, I didn't catch that they hid 7 worlds.
They hid 7. That there was like a map. There's 7 worlds on it. They said that they hid 7 of them, and then all of them have been destroyed.
Yeah.
Except for At-Atten. So everyone thinks that it has like the best riches, which I imagine it's going to come out has something.
Yeah.
Because everyone has a job there. Everyone is technically talking about... Oh, I wish we could have figured out who that character was. Sorry. The actor. Anyways,
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm thinking ahead.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So like they do have jobs, but they like the droid talks about it very well. The sentry droid, he's like, no one's permitted to send messages outside the what do they call it? The shield? No, the
barrier.
They're
like, so what are you? That's how the scene started. You know, they're like, the parents are so worried.
Mm-hmm.
What are we gonna do with their kids? And droid said something about talking to someone higher, and they're like, it's just not permitted to go outside the boundary and deal with that. Like, it's too big of a problem now.
Yeah. Yeah, they basically said like we can't we don't. It's illegal to send any messages outside the barrier. It's illegal to go outside the barrier. So I wonder if it's going to get to where the parents will actually do anything, if they'll like stage an escape to actually get out or not. I could see it happening, but I could see them not, like just not doing it at all.
Yeah.
Being maybe just more prepared for them to come back and just hoping they do.
The parents are definitely angry with this, like the scene was like with them in the background arguing about how do we change this? What do we do? So it seems like they're going to try and do something.
I think what we'll probably get in those scenes, I bet pretty much how it's going to go is every episode we'll get like one scene of Ad-Atten, like for a while until like the last like 2 or 3 episodes, where they're talking to someone higher, than like maybe unraveling the story of Ad-Atten. Maybe the higher ups don't actually know.
Yeah,
kind of like similar to like the TVA. Did you watch Loki?
Yes. Yeah.
So like the TVA, even like the creators of the people running the TVA didn't
like
know
space control sort of thing.
Well, but like they also just didn't know the history of it. They didn't know all the things.
Huh.
So I think even the higher ups that the parents are going to talk to won't know everything because they've been there for generations.
Interesting.
So I think they're going to start to uncover maybe what.
That's a good take on it. I think that makes sense. Bringing in the TVA, it's not a time continuum like in Marvel universe, but I mean the owl. First of all, I think she's a really good character. She's owls are like, you think of an owl and you think of wisdom, and she's kind of portraying that.
Whenever I think of owls and characters, I always think of the cosmic owl from Adventure Time. I don't know if you ever watched Adventure Time.
I always think of the owl from that old lollipop commercial.
How
many licks
does
it take to lick
bites it?
Yeah, the middle lollipop.
I think
but it seems like with her being that owl and she's the character that way, she just has a great understanding of the universe so far. Like she's the one that has all the maps apparently. Like if what's his face?
Jod.
Jod. He went and talked to her and they know each other apparently already, and just like, how can you get me there? But she's also turned on him. It's. I think she's a good character, and we're gonna find out something cool about her. But we don't see her, and she's just a little part of it.
Yeah. So I think I'm basically, I don't know. So I'm trying to figure out how to jump into this. So let's just quickly just go back to like kind of how the story goes. They pretty much just escape the pirate thing. There's not much they do. They show that he can use the Force a little more. I do believe he actually can use the Force. I don't think he's Sith. I don't even know. I think he must have. I think he was an apprentice. He had to have been like an apprentice, is what it feels like. He had been like a Padawan, or even younger, like a youngling, is what it feels like. Because I don't think.
Well, is there no other way to get the Force than through that process?
I don't feel like to the knowledge he has potentially, unless someone trained him. Normally, people don't just figure it out on their own. Normally, I would say. I guess there is, unless they're trying to tie in the end of The Last Jedi where that kid can just use the Force or whatever randomly. There's also that, I guess.
How did you feel about the line where they said to him, like, doesn't a Jedi never mean to leave a man behind? And he was like, that's not a Jedi thing to say.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I don't know. I think I see that's what I'm saying. I think he is not technically a Jedi, but I think he was trained by a Jedi when he was a kid. Huh. And I don't think that is technically a Jedi tenet.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking.
I think she just said that because she doesn't know much about Jedi. She only knows what they know about the books. And he was just trying to lead him on, like, oh, wow, you know a lot about the Force, see? And, like, trying to, like, kind of bolster him up and, like, make Wim kind of, like more excited about it and stuff. But it's really interesting. I don't know. It felt like, I almost felt like nothing happened in that episode, now that I'm thinking about it.
Like that's kind of how I felt when we started this. I was like, what'd you think? I'm like, it's good. I like it. I'm just excited to see what else is going to happen.
No, I know.
That's what I'm thinking right away.
It's like, we didn't learn any more about, like, character-wise, like Wim or anybody, really.
Yeah.
We didn't, like, learn any more information. We learned about the world, and we got what Ad-Atten is.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone's going to come online and figure out, like, maybe what those 7 planets are. I'm sure they had names on that thing.
It for sure feels like a filler episode.
It does, but it got something.
Yeah, it brought in the owl. I think that was the main thing.
So Kim the Owl, she reminds me of the Collector from Marvel. From the Guardians of Marvel. The Guardians of the Galaxy, right? There's like that one guy that has like all the collections of all the things. I don't know if you remember that guy.
Oh.
He's in a couple of the movies. the collector, because she says he's like, I have items from thousands of worlds or whatever, and then and then the kids are shot. Like we got a little bit more about their life where they only know about Coruscant and Alderaan.
So I'm sure we're gonna find out, but she did the research, asking the questions, and saw that symbol. Do you really think she got to N right away and was trying to stall time?
No, I do think she was trying to stall time, because so when she saw Crimson Jack, so Homeboy has 3 names so far. He has Jod.
3.
He has Jod. Jod something, which I think is his actual name. And then he has Silo or
oh yeah, that
his captain name
when he came out.
Yeah, so to the pirates he has like a captain name.
Yeah, it's something like Silo.
It's something like that. It's like he has his captain name. He has Jod, and then he also has Crimson Jack. So it's kind of like he's lived a lot of lives and like tried a bunch of things. Like he worked with Kim for a while.
Yeah, and
then like turned on her. It's probably what happened. And he became a pirate.
Yeah.
I'm imagining that Jod is his original name, from when he was a potential Jedi. I'm putting my money on he was like a Padawan, like a young Padawan, like a.
I really don't think he was a Jedi at all.
Like no association.
I'd maybe see Padawan, but I'm curious to see if there's another way besides the path of a Padawan.
I think
a Jedi.
Maybe the only other way I could see him being a character is like not a rogue Jedi, but like a Jedi that escaped Order 66 and like trained this random kid.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like I think it has to.
That would make more sense in my mind.
It would have to come from a Jedi or a Sith, I would think.
Yeah,
I would think. I don't, unless
we've just never seen another way that you can use the Force.
I mean, like there is like a Asajj Ventress who's not technically a Sith, right? She's like she has like a gray lightsaber in the. You haven't seen. Never mind. So
no.
she's in the Bad Batch.
Oh yeah. Sorry to say, guys, I haven't seen the Bad Batch yet.
Right. So she's in the Bad Batch, and she's just like a bounty hunter, basically, and she just can use the Force. But she could have taught someone like that. Like there are other, like there's a gray Jedi. There's like other types of Force users in the galaxy.
Was it the Force in the Acolyte when we had the witches doing their thing?
Well, the witches stuff was that was magic with a K.
Oh.
Because they weren't just necessarily using the Force to like move objects and stuff like traditionally like the Force.
Yeah.
But the things he's doing are very like traditional Force. Pick up a key,
Agreed.
Make a sound like Ben Kenobi does it in Episode 4. It makes a sound in the distance. He just turns off a light. He's not doing anything like amazing, like crazy Force. It feels like he doesn't know enough. Like he barely moved the key, just made a sound, just turned. Like he's not like doing crazy things. Besides like just like feeling the Force and feeling someone coming around the corner kind of deal. So, I don't know. I'm not really sure who he is, but I do know he's not great yet. It does feel like they're still setting up a classic double cross that we talked about in Episode 1, where because he talked to his old crewmate, who is some sort of actor that Ethan thinks is from. He sounds like it, but he
sounds like Gibbs from Pirates of the Caribbean.
He's not quite Gibbs.
We didn't look it up yet, so we don't know. But
no one's come out with it yet. I can't find it on the internet yet.
I couldn't find it either
because this episode just dropped.
I literally searched his name. I'm already forgetting the actor's name who played Gibbs, but I searched his name, then searched Skeleton Crew next to it, and I didn't.
I don't think it's him. It's not quite. It's an older guy.
That's the only thing I've looked up.
It's an older. It almost feels like someone from Harry Potter. It's like an old dude. It's an old dude that's in a lot of kids' movies. I recognize his voice.
I still think it's Gibbs.
It's not Gibbs. It's not Gibbs.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
We'll figure it out.
I'll text you tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we'll just get back to all of you guys and say, this is who it was. And
yeah.
Well, he's just going to say, Ethan's right. No, I'm just kidding.
Ethan's not right. We'll come back in episode 3 of this. But other than that, like, I am enjoying it. I'm liking kind of what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
The episode didn't feel too short by any means.
No.
It didn't feel like much happened. I like that. Yeah, I like the escape from the pirate place. I think we're going to get a lot of bounty hunters now.
Yeah. I like that we have SM-33 back as well.
Yeah,
I think he's an important character as far as the whole crew for this ship goes, you know. And at first, he was trying to leave without him, and I totally called it, in my mind. I was like, they're going to get SM-33 back. They're going to hold him to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids need him right now. They need SM-33. He's, I think that guy would easily overpower them and get his way.
Yeah.
But although I'm forgetting the girl's name, the one who wears like those glasses on her eyes.
Is it? Wait, what? KB.
KB, yeah.
Probably written down somewhere. Right.
Yeah, probably right here. KB seems to have a better understanding than the kids on a lot of this stuff. She's picking up better.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone else fell asleep, and she's still thinking and wanted to ask him questions. And she was the only one to go back and talk to Kim again, and be like, just tell me what you know real quick before, even though they're running away trying to escape being shot at. I think she's going to find something out before everyone else.
Potentially.
I think Neil is the most oblivious. He's not ever going to know until they tell him.
He's killing it, dude.
Yeah.
They're going to stab me. Not
anyway. I know that little like shake head after he said that.
The
just cute.
Dude, Threads, internet is loving Neil.
They?
It's insane. It's like all the posts are only Neil.
Yeah, I saw this Instagram post after we'd watched the first 2 episodes, and it was like Neil, him as an actual person, like thanking
kid.
Everybody's like, I'm still gonna do more. Thanks for all the love, you guys. And I
Yep.
was like, man, people are loving this guy.
No,
so
he is.
I love him. Keep it up, buddy.
We like Neil. I want a cosplay of him. I have all the stuff picked out.
That'd be cool.
Did you see my post?
I did it too.
Oh, I shared like a link to all the things that can make his costume.
Oh, really?
Not like the head, but just like overalls.
I did see your post. Yeah, I didn't see.
I think it'd be a funny.
I didn't see the head.
I think it'd be a funny cosplay, but Neil's killing it. I think all the other characters. I think it's cool. I think. I guess the characters we learned more about in this episode, right? We did learn. We learned about Jod.
Mm-hmm.
We learned a tiny bit more about KB, kind of.
Yeah,
like
I'd say so.
We learned. We got to actually hear like more her doing things and talking about stuff, and then we learned about Kim, the owl lady.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about SM33 being not an anagram. What do they call it when they use numbers as letters? Have you heard this? SM33?
Mm-mm.
If you make the threes E's, it's just SME, which is like Captain Hook's.
You think that is a thing with him?
That's what the joke is. Not the joke, but that's what the reference is. It's SME. SM33 is SME, to be like a reference to the first mate of a pirate ship is SME.
Yeah, SME.
SM33.
Makes sense.
Let's see. Let me talk about like the quick references. In the droid repair shop, in this episode, they go to a droid repair shop. We get 3 main droids they reference. They reference a battle droid, and they turn him on and he goes, "Did I win the war?"
Yeah, they walked into that scene and already you're like, man, there are just so many references here.
Yeah. So
like, there's episode 4. There's
the very first one is just like a dead droid you see in the sand crawler from the Jawas.
Yeah.
And then the one that stands up is just it's from the original trilogy, just an opposite protocol droid with the big head in the back, like the pointy one. They're a lot.
And then that battle droid.
And the battle droid.
Yeah.
That was the main one. I'm sure there'll be more.
Did we win?
Did we win the war? Which I love battle droids. I think it's great. We had references because
I actually thought he was gonna say Roger Roger or something like that.
You just Roger Roger. Just
like as he's dying, like Roger Roger or something like that.
It's funny they turned him on and just fell apart, but they are known to do that. Like episode 1, they just kind of fall apart.
Yeah,
after they turn them off.
True.
But which I think is a weird design to make them. Anyways.
Yeah. Speaking of references, like references in the show, I think it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking to myself, like when we first watched episodes 1 and 2, and I heard their like where they lived was called Atten.
Yeah.
In my critical mind, at first, I was like at Atten while I was creative, like an at, you know.
Yeah.
But then we go to talk on the podcast, and you're like, oh, all these references, and then instantly, all of a sudden, we're on a positive side talking about it as a reference.
Yep.
Now everything has changed for me. I feel like I'm looking at references everywhere throughout the entire show, and it's just been, I don't know, it's cool to see how they're doing that. And the things they're referencing is definitely like old stuff. You know, it's cool how they're bringing that back in this show. And I think it's more and more it is going to be a history of it. And like, because in the beginning we would see that he, like his pad that he's looking through things and his story and everything. There's already so much history that they're learning about. And maybe this is just going to be a new revelation for them where they get an understanding all of a sudden. I'm excited to see what more references come out and how it comes together.
Yeah.
You know?
I think a lot of people may not like that it's mainly just references to old IPs.
I do agree with that.
Because people are like, well, great, they're just trying to do nostalgia. Okay, cool. They're just trying to like, oh, nostalgia, I feel cool now. I remember, I know that thing. That's the thing from the thing. Like the ferryman was just it's a guy from not the Caravan of Courage, but the Battle for Endor movie.
Yeah, the Ewoks movie.
The Ewoks movie, man. They're great movies. Well, they're not great movies. They're movies that aren't that great, but they're fun. They're fun movies. You do need to watch them.
What I was going to tell you guys before I came to this podcast, I told you, I was like, so I'm a D23 member at Disney. I'm a huge Disney fan. If we ever did a podcast on Disney, I would probably be a good guy to talk to. But they give me these magazines I think it's like 4 times a year, and in this one it had information on the Skeleton Crew, and that's how we were able to like find out about the Ewoks movie. And I have actually never seen the Ewoks movie. I remember I talked to you about it. You're like, oh, you got to see it.
They're great.
We watched like a short clip of it, and I was like, oh, this I'm gonna watch it now.
It's so funny.
You guys all should. It's like, it's very old film. It doesn't feel like Star Wars when you're watching it, but the fact that they're referencing something like that in this show is crazy to me. And even that we've had the Christmas special, another really old thing. Like, I'm just surprised, like, if they were going to be referencing something, that they're taking it back this far. I would have expected something different than that. But
yeah, obviously I don't think any Disney haters are probably listening to this right now, but if you are, I think it's a good move for Disney just in general, right? Because if you look at the sequel trilogy, they were pretty big into not showing anything from, besides like Tatooine and stuff. They like didn't do very many like creatures from the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy. They just kind of avoided everything Star Wars in a way, kind of, right? Like obviously with Sith and everything else, but like background characters were all like brand new because they were almost scared to like reference it, like prequel stuff. Yeah,
and I thought of that too. I was like, why, especially if people like George Lucas so much and his ideas and everything that he's had, like why be afraid of, I know what they want to honor George Lucas, and that was the first idea of it, at Disney. I think it's cool that they're wanting to do that. Like he had his great works. We don't want to do anything that'll ruin that. But now it's like, you may as well reference it. If they like it so much and it's going to bring back these things, like I think it'll help the film. And I think it is helping it.
I think so. I think it's fun because it is fun to look for things in Star Wars movies for like, oh, hey, that's the guy from the thing. Like, that's why I do a Mandalorian all the time. Like there's lots of little characters that you see.
Real quick on that, if you guys do watch the Ewok movie, it does say it's a story by George Lucas, even though it does not feel Star Wars at all. No. Besides, I mean, it's a cute little Ewok in this girl, but it says story by George Lucas. So any of you diehard George Lucas fans, go and watch this.
Yeah. So, man, the whole George Lucas thing is people are kind of back and forth on it because they all hate George Lucas, but they also want him all back. It's so weird.
I've never understood it.
No, it's because he changed. He made the prequels, and they all hated the prequels, and then they made the which is funny. Like from our perspective, it's like, why did they hate the prequels? They're great because, anyways, I don't know. It's a whole can of worms.
Maybe that's a different podcast.
It is an entire podcast because what it started with was the special editions, and they made Han not shoot first. They had a Jabba the Hutt in episode 4. There's a lot of things he added and that people were not like stoked on. So they all kind of hate him because he became a corporation, but then they also want him back. It's kind of weird. They drove him away, honestly. It's the fans' fault that George sold.
You know what I was just thinking? Do you think that this answers the question to... I for some reason, I hear this all the time when I talk to Star Wars people. They say, is it an AT-AT or is it an AT-AT? Do you think that this is AT-AT. Answering that question, saying that it's called AT-AT?
No, I don't think so. I do think that it feels like more people call it AT-ATs.
Really?
I call it AT-AT.
I personally feel like I've heard more people say AT-AT.
I call it AT-AT. I did the podcast I just did with Tea Time on Tatooine.
Yeah,
she called it an AT-AT. And
see, there's a difference.
The people that call AT-ATs also normally call them chicken walkers. The other ones.
Oh yeah,
those are AT-STs.
Yeah.
So in my mind, because I that's my brothers told me it was just AT-ATs and AT-STs. Do you know what AT-AT stands for?
I don't know that.
All-terrain attack. Wait, armored transport.
Huh. And I think I actually did know that.
AT-ST I think is all-terrain scout transport. I think, but this is not the right topic to be talking about.
Yeah, no, we just got way off.
I'm pretty happy with the Skeleton Crew. Love Neil. We want more Neil. Maybe he'll have a more focused episode soon. We're getting down to where we don't have many clips left from the trailer. I'm sure we have a couple, but now we've seen the owl. That was in the trailer. and we've seen her moon. That was in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
There's not too much more. I do know there's a scene where Wim's dad, just weird to say Wim's dad. Wim's dad talks to the supervisor lady. I know that we're going to get that.
The supervisor droid or whatever?
No, just like the supervisor lady. It's not a droid. It's just a lady.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of a different scene that you're talking about.
I think you're talking. Well, it's in the trailer, but
yeah.
No, I think it's going where we think it's going to go. I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to rescue him. I think it's going to be cliche.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it, and I think it's going to be good. Any other last thoughts, Ethan, before we sign off?
Just that last thing on seeing the moon in the trailer, I thought it was pretty cool looking. When they first went into it, it's like
very beautiful,
really wavy, and then they mentioned how like cold the moon was when they get off the ship, and I was like, all these cool little things like that. I'm loving to see it, and I just can't wait to see what more and more.
Which that's almost a reference to episode 1, because Anakin, when he first goes to space, he's, I'm cold. That's like his first thing he says when he goes to space. Which who knows if that's a reference or that's just a thing you might say when you go to space.
It's just funny. So how many references we're saying throughout the show?
Because it's like poetry. It rhymes. Yeah. No, I think the show is I think it is beautiful, and I think it's really well done. But I don't have anything left to say. You have anything, Ethan?
I don't think so.
Okay. We will sign off. Thank you for joining us. Join us next week for a review soon.